it's too cold for you here now, so let me hold both your hands.
Guys, if you like the content and you want to show me some support, Neverhome's my brand. It's my brainchild, my baby I've had for 8 years. I am the most passionate person about making clothes for us to wear in the gym. If you get a chance, check out www.neverhome.com and show some love and support. This is one of my new tops coming out. That's Ronnie Coleman, designed as a monster on an oversized t-shirt. We've got our short shorts, we've got our caps, but the range is always expanding. And I want to say thanks if you've already made a purchase. Thank you very much. I love to see you support my brand. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Johnny Starr, Scott SLAMAN. I should introduce you first. My apologies. This is our fourth podcast. We couldn't think of a name, so we just called it Sunday Night Lives, even though it's not Sunday nights.
Sunday night Q&As, because we always did our Sunday Night Lives. So we'll probably release this on Sunday as well.
We will. This has been a progression of us doing lives, training together, putting out content, and we've progressed to the studio. So if it's the first time you've seen us, please like, subscribe, share. We are trying to improve your lives, and we really enjoy this, don't we? Well, I enjoy it. Scotty's getting better. With time, he's nervous, so let's all give him a bit of a chance. But you're set. You're set for this.
I got a love-hate thing going on, kind of like leg training. You know?
So before we get into the questions, we thought let's do a bit of a life update. We haven't really trained together this week because I've been flat out, and you've been pretty busy as well.
Yeah.
But what's been happening on your world, Mr. SLAMAN? Talk to us. The viewers want to know what's going on.
I'm pretty boring. There's nothing a whole lot going on. School holidays, so the kids are in different holiday programs. Today I dropped them off at a sports center, so they're doing some stuff there. The other day they went to gymnastics, but I made the mistake. I got them these watches where they can call us. Right.
Little smartwatches.
Yeah, so they've been calling us a lot. So I think in the gymnastics program, I went to pick up Zach 5 times. I went back and forth there 5 times yesterday because he calls, can you pick me up? You know, so I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to leave him there if he's not liking it. I go there, yeah, I'll stay for a little longer. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get some work done. And he calls me again, can you pick me up now? And I tried to talk him into it, but yeah, so now we're just taking the watches off. So I said, look, if it's an emergency, you tell someone to call us. But no, it's
dad life, right, John? You're getting used to that too.
Yeah, but it's fun.
How's all your clients and coaching going? Anything exciting happening? Oh, actually, we've got a little surprise for people too, right?
What's that?
You know, the big fella coming on.
Oh, yeah, we'll keep that quiet for
Stay tuned. There's one of the old big names from back in the day. If you've been in the Australian fitness industry for a while, you'll know this guy. And I think if he makes the comeback, which he will, I don't think anyone's going to be as good.
It will be incredible. I'm super excited. I can't even tell you.
Freak.
Yeah.
Freak. Very nice guy too. So that's exciting. So we'll might surprise you with that.
But yeah, I'm loving the coaching. I really, really am. There's a variety of clients that I deal with, and everybody has their different goals and needs, and just getting people into their best shape, whether it be mentally or physically. You know, some people have been in great shape in the past, or some people are already at their peak now, but they've hit a little bit of a plateau, and they come to me because they want to get beyond that, and it makes me have to put my thinking cap on and really think, how can we get them beyond the best they've ever been? So that's, and safely as well. That's a huge factor. So yeah, I enjoy the challenges.
And now, because it's colder, are you doing what I'm doing?
I'm in a bit of a surplus. Not much. I don't want to blow out too much, but I'm a little bit of a surplus.
Well, as you can see, I'm wearing my new puffer jacket that's coming out, which is full duck down, just so you know, which is coming out soon. But it's cold in Melbourne. It's freezing, eh, John? This is Melbourne. It's just gone like that. It's pretty much winter temperatures. So there's not so much of a need for me to be so lean. So I'm eating a bit more.
Yeah, I don't think you can not be lean, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get you over 100 this year.
Well, I'm getting a bit of the back fat now, so I know it's happening, right? My legs stay lean all the time, but I'm getting that. I can squeeze a bit of fat there now, so I know that must be working. I'm eating in a surplus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my training's good. Just eating a little bit more.
And we're focused on, so I often tell people when they're lean all the time and, they like that physical look, and that can be very satisfying, and then they go onto a growth phase, and they might be a little discouraged of what, not seeing as much visible abs in the mirror. I say, okay, well, let's switch our focus a little bit. Let's switch more to performance. Let's see if we can't, focus on getting a little bit stronger. Because when you put on a little bit of muscle tissue, let's say you put on 100 grams a week, it's not going to show up so much in the mirror, especially if you're a little bit softer. But if you can focus on your performance, putting on that tissue every week so that you can get excited about the next time you unveil it, and having that new found muscle when you're getting lean again will be exciting. And
I had to tell myself I'm not going to look as good. I'm going to be a little bit fluffier, but it's part of the process, right?
Exactly.
Because you can't be. Well, I could be, but if I want to grow, I really need to eat a bit more food. So I've been eating well, and on my end, man, I've been working my ass off with my real estate. This is my 15th year in April, so I just ticked over 15 years, awesome. Which is a good milestone. Stuck with it. It's a very hard industry, but once everyone knows you're an agent and you put yourself out there a bit, do the right thing, you start to get a bit of business. So now it's really at a tipping point where it's really, really going so well for me.
Reputation is everything. Really is,
yeah. So it's been great. So that's where I'm at and working on the brand. But let's get into the questions now, eh?
Let's do it.
All right. So first question is, how often should you change your routine and exercises? So this would be a training routine.
Okay. Not as often as you might think. So we need time to, if you're doing a new movement, for example, or a new routine, there is a process where you're learning a new movement. It takes a little while for your brain to adapt to a movement. So you might get stronger the first 2-3 weeks of doing that movement very quickly, but that is often just learning how to do the movement pattern more efficiently. After that, then the muscle starts growing, or muscle starts taking over, and we need to get stronger, whether it be an extra rep or for an extra 5 kilos for those adaptations to take place. So if you're changing routine every week, then you're not giving yourself a chance to let that movement, or you're not giving yourself a chance to use a movement long enough to progress in it over time, which is really what's going to put new muscle tissue on. Now, if you've been doing something for a while and you're hitting a sticking point, you're no longer seeing any progress, then you might swap the movement out. But I recommend having some staple movements that you do. Like, for example, even when we do legs, we have a few options to go from, but we stick with mostly the same movements over and over again. It's pretty boring. But we try to progress. 1 week we might do a hip press, and the next week it might be a leg press. But it's either one of those. 1 week it might be a hack squat. The other week it might be a pendulum. But we're progressing in each. So there's a little variety going on. But we're trying to get better for those adaptations to take place. You switch it up every week. Yeah, you might get a little sore, this, that, and the other. But in order to put more tension in the muscle, doing it long enough to reap those rewards. I mean, look at guys like Ronnie and Dorian. They were just doing the same stuff for years and just kept progressing. So, and then things might happen. You might get injured, or something might change, and switching it up. You do have to enjoy it though. So, when I write programs up for people, I'm not too attached to the particular movement. So I'm happy for somebody to, if they don't feel like they connect well with a movement or there's a machine they prefer, I want them to use that instead. That way, they can progress something they're super comfortable with. But once you do that, let's stick on it for long enough to see some progress.
Good answer. So don't change it up all the time. No point doing different exercises every week. Stick to the plan, be consistent, progressively overload. And then if you start to plateau, you might change some movements up maybe. But that could be a year,
great summary.
2 years.
Great summary. Exactly right.
Here's one. What is your thoughts on low-carb bread?
Don't get me started.
Because I tried that for a bit, right? Fuck it, yeah.
Don't.
The labeling is gone.
Please, guys, don't touch low-carb crap. Like, okay, bottom line is we need to look at ingredients of these products. People get brainwashed by these labels, and they see, the front of the label, even the macros, they might get excited. But please look at the ingredients, because a lot of times the quality of ingredients you're putting in isn't optimal. Chances are the calories in the low-carb bread are going to be about the same per 100 grams as normal bread, for example. But you look at the ingredients. The number one ingredient might be wheat gluten. Wheat gluten's a protein, right? That's going to put protein content up. Not great for digestion. Might be soy protein. Again, not great quality protein source. So what happens is people will use the low carb bread. They'll put in their macros, and then what they'll do is they'll take away some of the good quality proteins they're having because they're thinking they're getting enough protein through this low carb pastas and breads. So they'll have less of the good protein that they should have been having. So you're better off having the good quality proteins to start with and just have some nice organic sourdough or something that you enjoy, which is probably going to be the same calorie content anyway.
Love that answer. I got stuck into the low carb bread for a while. I think some of the fat content was pretty high on it too. Do you remember?
Yeah, well, the calories are usually about the same.
Yeah.
So it'll be less carbs, but more fat, more protein.
Yeah.
So you're not getting less calories. But think about, I don't want people just to be so focused on macros that they lose the sight of the overall quality of foods they're getting in. So don't just read the macros. Look at the actual ingredients that are put into there.
Yeah, very well.
Same thing
said.
with protein bars. You know, thinking, I'm getting 20 grams of protein, 30 grams of protein. Look at the quality of protein that they use. Often it's like a calcium caseinate, or even the ready RTDs in the supermarkets. A lot of those are just calcium caseinate, which is a really shitty form of protein. And then they'll use a bunch of sugar alcohols and you name it as far as ingredients, just to make it taste nice and to fit within certain macro targets. But nobody looks at the ingredients. So that's, much better off having a good quality isolate and a little snack along with that than getting those protein bars and things in.
Those protein bars are a good way to stink out your office.
Yeah, you look at the warning: excess consumption has a laxative effect.
Yeah. You can't have too many. I've done that. Fucked up.
Yeah. So just think about it. If that's doing that to your guts, your digestion, how good is that for you? And also with the breakfast cereals, that's another thing. You see these like breakfast cereals that are in the healthy aisle. They'll have like a 4 or 5 star rating because they have higher fiber content. And all they do is they put this, what they call resistant maltodextrin, right? So that's basically carbs that's a prebiotic, which is okay, a little bit's fine. But if people are trying to push in a lot of carbs and they're eating 100 grams of this cereal at a time, and they're using all this prebiotic fiber in there, that's going to cause some gut issues. So for example, I'm happy to use like the just regular old rice bubbles, the rice puffs, Kellogg's Rice Krispies, and whatnot. They're actually not any higher in sugar than the healthy version. The healthy version just has this added resistant maltodextrin to have it a better to put it in a better section in the shop.
I understand. There you go, guys. Pay close attention to this. This is crucial.
I could go on about a lot of foods. It's one of my pet peeves. You could go on about these olive oil spreads, right? Olive oil is great. But you look at
like a buttery spread sort of thing?
You look at they got pictures of olives on the side, everything like that. You think, oh, this is good for me. It's olive oil, right? Good? Well, you look at the ingredients. It's like 10% olive oil. The rest of it's vegetable oil. And don't get me started on vegetable oil.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a lot of ghee now with all my meals.
Yeah.
And I find that I feel good.
Yeah, real quality butter or ghee, you're going to be much better off.
Here's a good one. Johnny, I'll ask you this question first. Can you train every day? No. What do you say, Scott?
Well, you can, but how hard, if you can train every day, how hard are you training really? Or are you caffeinating yourself so hard to get through the next workout that, your recovery capabilities aren't going to match? So,
when we say train, can I jump in though?
Yeah.
We're talking more bodybuilding.
We're talking about
pretty hard training.
Yeah.
You can train every day and do fluff around.
Yeah, you can do things.
Yeah.
But when our main goal is for muscle growth or to hold on to muscle tissue the best we can. So what we're trying to do is stimulate the muscle as hard as we can when we are in there. And, for example, for me, I can't do more than about 3 days in a row before a rest day. Some people only 2. I've had clients that they needed a rest day after 1 day. 1 day on, 1 day off because they trained freaking crazy hard, and the recovery capabilities weren't ideal. Look at Dorian, he trained 4 days a week. 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 2 days off. There are exceptions. Look at Ronnie Coleman. That's an exception. Trained 6 days, like hard. Like there's rarities that can get away with it.
Genetic outliers, yeah.
100%, yeah. But if I know if I train more than 3 days, if I train a 4th day, I'm smashed. But if you can train 6-7 days in a row, you gotta. I really question your intensity.
You might be
Really
going backwards. I think some people, they get into it, they get this momentary inspiration and motivation. They think more is better. I've been through that too. Where I train sometimes I train twice a day.
Yeah.
But I was just never progressing a lot. And now I see all these guys in the gyms, they're probably overtraining.
Yeah.
And and another thing I'll touch on is getting the movements right, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
So for myself, I just train weights 3 days in a row. The fourth day, I might do cardio and something low intensity and some mobility work, but I don't really count that as actual training.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's what's a maximum length of time you should be in a deficit?
Okay, that depends as well. So think about this. If you have people come to me that's been in a deficit for a long period of time. Let's say, I've got guys on less than 2,000 calories come to me and say, well, I've been on, 1,800 calories for the last year and my body's no longer making progress. Well, I'm not surprised. Your body adapts to whatever you're doing after some period of time. So everything will start slowing down. You've got the thermic effect of food, so that's going to be less. You've got you're going to have less NEAT, which means you're going to fidget less. You're going to move around less with less food. Your thyroid function slows down. Your body adapts to less food for long periods of time. So if I have somebody diet for a lengthened period of time, we often split it up with little diet breaks. And that's going to help keep things going a little bit. So
what's a diet break? Pizzas and ice cream all day?
No, absolutely not. So diet break would be bringing things up to maintenance calories. So instead of being in a massive deficit, let's say somebody's maintenance calories was 2,800 calories. So let's say the deficit was 2,000. They bring it up to 2,800 calories for, let's say, a week, and mainly in the form of carbs. That's going to help with getting that thyroid function back, getting leptin levels up, getting metabolism functioning better so that when you come back to the deficit, you drop again. Now, they did a study out of Tasmania called the Matador study.
Yeah, you said this to me before, yeah.
Yeah, so they took 2 groups of people. They put one group, these were untrained people, in a deficit for 6 months straight. And then they had another group where they put them in a deficit for 2 weeks, followed by maintenance for 2 weeks. And they toggled that. And the people that had the toggling of their calories from maintenance to deficit got better results, held on to muscle better, and then after the study was over, maintained the results much better off. So and we know this from bodybuilding, when people have high carb days and things like that, they do much better than people that just stay hard for long periods of time. Now, this isn't an excuse to just go eat shit and say, oh, I need a break, So this is planned, and this isn't for somebody's enjoyment, although it does mentally give people a break too, but it's not for those reasons. It's more for physiological reasons, more so than psychological.
Very good answer. All right, here's a great question and debatable one. What's a better way to build size? Lifting super heavy or lighter with control and contractions?
I'd say somewhere in between. Okay, so I'm going to take 2, extremes, like super heavy, just, trying to swing the weight, moving point A to point B with no control. And then I'm going to, versus using, some really light weights and just squeezing and contracting and everything like that. Neither one of them is going to be great. So what we want is to control the weight, enough weight to create enough tension in the muscle. So the key driver for muscle growth is mechanical tension. So you need enough weight to give muscle tension, and just flexing the muscle is not enough to do that.
What does mechanical tension mean?
Mechanical tension, that's tension in the muscle against resistance.
Okay.
So you're not going to get a lot of mechanical tension by flexing and contracting. You actually need resistance against the muscle.
Okay.
And so when those reps start slowing down and they get really hard and you're still pushing against that, that's going to, and under control. So it's all about tempo too. So if you're controlling the eccentric, which has been shown to be very productive for muscle growth, and that it's, I can see when somebody trains well, it's the transition, and you train really well with this, and it's the transition between the concentric and eccentric and the pauses on both sides.
It's only because you told me off so many times. He's like, stop bouncing. I'm like, fuck.
Dude, you are like the poster boy for control.
Yeah.
Fuck, you do better reps than I do. Like, here I'm supposed to
I
be.
don't know about that.
I'm supposed to be teaching this shit, right? And you control it under the eccentric, a slight pause, and then you're still using force and creating tension in the muscle as you push through the concentric, and then it's a slight pause between that going back into the eccentric, and it's perfect. And that's exactly what we want. So to answer the question, it's somewhere in between.
And just touching on that, I think that is one of the most important things that people are getting wrong, is the way they're training. Because I really pride myself on my form.
Oh, yeah.
And I lucky I've got no ego in the gym now. You know, I went to the gym last night because I didn't have time really to get a good workout in today. You're like, oh, I told you.
Yeah. And
I was at the local Anytime Fitness. So this is your average sort of gym person. Not saying they're, just your normal people.
Yeah.
These guys are lifting heavy weights, but there was no form, bouncing out. It wasn't great training, and they were actually wasting time going in there. I wish we could just create something to show people proper form, controlling the weight, actually squeezing it, and just doing it properly. Because I was in there, man. I was lifting half the weight of these guys, even just doing body weight pull-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really focus on working the muscle, contracting it, and putting some resistance.
And putting resistance into it, yeah.
But that's where I see so many people go wrong.
Yeah.
They're doing these squats, they're just bouncing up and down, putting too much weight on, blowing their backs out. The form and the control is way out for so many people, but some people just never get it.
I know. This is why I tell people to my clients,
send videos, right?
And if you're watching one of my clients, make
you
sure
watch this now.
You send some videos of your training so I can watch your form. So I can, and sometimes it doesn't take me watching your form. Sometimes it's just you can even see yourself. Oh, and I've had you do this to me as well. Like you film me, I'm like, actually, don't post that. That was shit, right?
Yeah.
I need to clean my reps up.
Yeah.
So
where people go wrong is that their egos and the insecurities get in the way, and they do things a certain way. Man, I see people. I just pick it we can pick it right in a second, straight away. Oh fuck, he's not doing that right, or he's working something wrong.
Yeah.
But someone's got to drop the ego and just get the movement right, and you'll get progression in the long run. And
I will point on that. There's another extreme to that too as well. So I see people
too much.
So in control. I'm going to do this rep so perfectly.
Yes.
And they're using the smallest weights, just flexing, contracting, and doing all this right.
Yeah.
But there's no load against it to cause any muscular adaptations. So
good point. So there needs to be something between.
But more often we see the weight not under control versus the other. But
and then we get a few extra negatives in, and I love traveling to failure.
Yeah.
I'll go to failure in every working set. I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
But it's a whole nother. We could do a whole podcast on that.
Oh, most definitely could. We could talk about how many working sets to failure versus how many reps in reserve you would need to do to equate to be the same. Like there's so many different equations we could look into, but I love it.
I got excited talking about that.
Yeah.
All right. So long question, long answer. Good one though. All right. Here's a great question. I can answer this one first. What is your biggest goal currently? So do you want to answer this?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, because you've got a lot of things going. You've got your real estate. You've got your brand. You've got a lot of fingers in the pie. So what would you like to see happen?
So my biggest goal at the moment is to live every day and look back on the day and go, that was another day I kicked ass and I was efficient and effective towards being successful. I really want to be the most successful person I can be within whatever I can do. And I found that I need to get help with a lot of these things. So the main goal for me is to build this brand up to be the biggest brand in the world. Like I'm thinking Nike. I've always thought that. Now, you have to have big goals like this. You may as well dream as big as you can, because you set the goals big. Even if you get halfway, they're still going to be massive, right? That's why the bodybuilding, like I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. I have to think that and believe it. And once you believe it, you kind of get momentum and things start to happen. So the past year, I've made so many changes with the brand, the teams, the new suppliers, and now the marketing things I'm doing. Like I got this guy called Jay Wright helping me with marketing. And I saw him helping these other big brands like LSKD. And I'm like, fuck, my brand's pretty cool. It's actually, I think I got the best brand in the world, Neverhome.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go all in on the marketing, right? Because I've never done, it's all organic. Everything I've done has been organic, my marketing.
Yeah.
I start paying $300, $400 a day for ads. and I force it in front of people, and they're seeing it, and they go, fuck, this is pretty cool. We start making some good money. So I got some financial goals with revenue I want to hit for the brand.
Yeah.
I want to try and get it to $1 million turnover for revenue.
Yeah.
You know, just get, because that's actually pretty small. These brands are doing 200, 300 mil. You know, I can get there. I'm going to do it. I just got to figure out how to do it. It's scalable.
Yeah.
And
the real estate's smashing it as well. And you're using the real estate to drive the brand as well.
Yeah. So the real estate, I'm working my ass off in, listing and selling as much as I can, providing good service. So I can take those commissions and put it back into the brand. So all I do is sell houses, pay for my expenses, save a little bit for like holidays and a little bit of savings, and the rest I reinvest into stock, marketing, where the thing's going. As whatever it is, I'm pumping it into it.
Awesome.
I'm doing as much as I can because I really believe in it. You have to. So I believe this is going to, you watch this in 5 years, unless I die, which I won't. It's going to be freaking massive. Because, you know, I see these guys like G'd Up. They came in here. Wait a second. They could do it. I can do it. You know, because I know how hard I can work. I can work really hard, long hours. And then if I'm getting smarter with the working, it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And people are wanting the clothes.
I like that you're willing to look to people who are experts in their field to help you, you know, because you, like you said, you've done everything organically just by being enthusiastic, doing this, what you love.
Yeah.
Then you're going, okay, well, how about I seek some help from people that actually know how to market this and then learn how to do it yourself. And, you know,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I make these with you. It's good for us to get out there. We like it. And everything's marketing and branding. Everything I do, every story I do, every meal prep I put up, every video I do, is I want people to see it and go, fuck, this is sick.
Yeah.
Now I know what this brand's about. We're never home. We're inspiring people. I want to wear that because I resonate with it. So I'm building a cult. It's called a tribe.
Yeah.
I'm building a tribe of young guys and girls or anyone of any age who want to better themselves. So my philosophy is it's a law of reciprocation.
100%.
The more I put out, the more I get back, and the right people will give back. And man, the sales are pumping every day. It's only 3, 4, maybe 10 sales. I'm not even pushing it just yet because I don't have stock in.
Yeah, no.
So wait till the marketing comes in. That's why, John, you're going to help me with some good content. That's my goal. So to get this brand to be eventually $1 billion brand. Brilliant. It is that now, but I've just got to get the numbers there. But that's my mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got to give it a crack, right? What the fuck not?
Why not?
Yeah, keep trying.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, that's, you know, I don't have the ability to scale anything as of yet. You know, with the coaching, it's going really well. I'm really happy with that. You know, my goal is to, you know, is pretty much every single client is my goal. You know, everybody that I work with, I want them to be the best that I can. So I can't overbook myself. So as far as the financial thing, I can't say, well, I want to bring in X amount of money and just keep bringing clients on because my service would deteriorate. So I've got to limit that to some degree.
Otherwise, you couldn't give the service.
No, exactly. I started that in the very beginning.
Take this jacket off. Sorry.
Taking more clients on. I'm like, okay, I had to put the brakes on. I had to put my prices up a little bit so that I could afford to put the brakes on and give everybody top-notch service. So, you know, I mean, although financially, I would like to be in a position to where I could outsource some of the things that I don't like to do that take time. Whether, I know this sounds silly, but whether it be just even the cooking and the cleaning and the washing and all that kind of stuff, I'd like to be in a position where I could hire somebody to do that.
That's why you have a wife, bro.
She is busier than I am. She is busier than I am. She's a little, you know, like she's a machine. She makes bikinis for all these competitors.
And the best, let's give her a shout out.
Yeah, 67 bikinis.
67 bikinis. If I was wearing a bikini, I'd be wearing one of those.
Absolutely. The best in the world.
Best handmade bikinis. Stacey, could I say her name?
Yeah, Stacey. Yeah.
Stacey makes them. Check out, give her a plug.
67 bikinis, yeah. That's
67
it. You see me sometimes wearing the shirts and things like that, but
cool shirts too, yeah.
Yeah, look, she literally does everything by hand.
Handmade, right?
Yeah, so she does the cuts, she does the crystalling, she, you know, makes sure that every cut, and she's a perfectionist, which is...
Well, she's picked you. You're perfect. Well, perfect man right here.
She needs the best. You know, she really does. So, you know,
and you help her a bit with that business too, don't you?
Not as much as I was. So I was doing all the Instagram for her and everything like that, and now I've kind of like shown her how to do that, so she's picked that up a bit, which gives me a little bit more
Probably
time
get
back.
immune to looking at chicks in bikinis after
Most
a while.
definitely, most definitely.
Get over it.
But man, she's really doing well, and she's found her passion. So that is another situation where both of our businesses are very much a service business, to where it's not necessarily so scalable, because she's so picky. She doesn't have people. She needs to do everything herself to some degree.
Isn't that lovely that they both do stuff they're passionate about?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's really cool, yeah.
But, I think we both would like to be in a position where we could outsource some of those things around the house.
Well, I'll cook for you if you give me enough money.
Well, there you go. And
I'm
then,
not a bad
and then
cook.
we can, make sure that we have time to focus 100% on the people that we're dealing with, and also be present for our kids and things like that too as well. So it's a balance.
I think it's important in life that, because I'm a workaholic, I easily do 18 hours a day for me. I'll work all day and just sleep.
Yeah.
Every minute.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of piss.
Yeah.
There's some guy at the gym, what do you say? I do 12 hours a day. I'm like, it's a big deal of that, But he's got a labour-intensive job.
Yeah.
Mine's more sales. I'm on the phones and things, so my
Yeah.
job's a lot easier.
It's not necessarily. It's a different kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's mentally draining. Can be tough too as well.
Those tradies, man, fuck, I don't know how they do that. I'll be fucked. I couldn't train.
Yeah.
I don't know how they
I really
on the
admire-
tools all day.
And you know what? Most of them are eating a shitload. Most of them are eating like. I got guys eating 6,000 plus calories and not putting on weight. If they don't eat 6,000 calories, they drop weight.
Fuck,
because
they must be moving a lot.
Exactly.
Far out, yeah. Good shout out to these tradespeople.
Yeah.
That is
I've got a number of them, and I really respect them 100%.
yeah. You come
Yeah.
into real estate, you just talk to people in open houses.
It's a different kind of hard.
It is a skill set. Everything's difficult until you make it easy. All right, let's move on from that question.
Yeah.
Here's a great one. How do you know when you're ready for PEDS, performance enhancing drugs?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure somebody has been training for long enough, naturally, and doing it properly too as well. It's not just about
At least 2 weeks training on your belt.
Exactly. No. So somebody has a goal to compete. I'd like to see them compete naturally first, to see how their body responds, to see how they can get really lean first, and then obviously the food, the training, that has to be for a number of years before they even consider it. Obviously, getting blood work done first, making sure that what their baseline levels were before they started to when they returned. But here's the big thing for me. I need somebody to think about the psychological aspects of this, because once they go on, let's say, testosterone, their strength's going to increase, the recovery's going to increase, they're going to have more motivation and drive, libido increases, all that kind of stuff. Great, woohoo! That's awesome. But if they plan on going for X amount of weeks or whatever it might be, months, then they're going to potentially be looking to come off. Now, when you come off, you need to think you are going to go down to zero, because you've been getting exogenous hormones in. Your body understands that. So when you pull those out, it takes a while for your body to kickstart and produce your own. No amount of PCT is going to do it instantly. It takes time. So you're going to feel like, you're going to be at lower than you've ever been for a little while. And you got to be mentally prepared for that. Now, keep this in mind. This is another big factor. When you come back up to, let's say, baseline, where you were before, if you get back to where you were before, it won't feel like it felt when you first started the testosterone. So you're not going to have peak levels of strength and motivation and drive. So you got to think, are you ready for that? Can you handle that mentally?
Some of you can't.
Yeah.
You have to, and then it's kind of like once you start, it's kind of, you just do one cycle. Most people.
Well, I have a lot of people say, I just want to try it once. I'm like, yeah, no, don't.
It's better than jumping on the white dragon, the pipe, because you won't stop that.
No.
Could they come to you and go, do people come to you and go, hey, I want to start my first cycle? Like, you must get heaps of messages on that. Like, what do you say to them?
Well, let's look at everything else first, right? That's the first thing I say.
Yeah.
And
because Johnny's thinking about it. Look at him, he's licking his lips. Fuck yeah, I'm going to get massive.
No. So most of the time, I've had people that say, okay, I want to do this. And I looked at their training, I looked at their food, I saw so many holes, so many things. All right, let's fix this, and see how you go. And boom, they're making progress every week. And we're going, they're actually the need for wanting to start dissipates.
Diminishes, yeah.
Because all of a sudden I said we can always pull that card later.
Because the funny thing is you can actually grow naturally.
Exactly.
You know, you can build muscle if you just eat, train, and sleep properly. You can actually grow.
This is true.
Everyone's jumping to the gear.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
No.
You know
So
what I mean?
when they start seeing the results and everything like that, the want and the need dissipates, and they might carry that on for, you know, a year or so before they are, okay.
Yeah.
Things have slowed down, almost come to a halt. I think I'm ready. And I might say, well, you know, that's completely a person's choice. I 9 times out of 10 pull people back from doing that. The other scenario is I have people that have been using a lot more in the past and not seen the results they've been happy with. So I teach them how to use a lot less.
Yeah, you can't do too much for too long. Fucks you up.
Yeah.
Great answer there. Just don't do it. Unless you're me and Scott. And we fucking love it. Just kidding.
Cut that part out.
No, leave it in. It's funny. Okay. Guys, another quick break. Hope you're enjoying the episode. Whatever you're watching this on, whatever platform, if you get a chance, please give us a review and subscribe to all our channels. Let's get back to the episode. Here's a great question. Do you get more respect when you're in shape in your personal experience?
Absolutely. Most definitely. No question. I remember, you know, when I competed, you know, you get a lot of respect at the time. You know, you'd be in peak shape. Man, you look so good on the stage, this, that, and the other. And then the off season would come around. And then, yeah, not so much. So I want people to think about this too as well. So when you're in peak shape, you're posting on social media, you're getting the likes, you're getting the shares, you're getting all that kind of stuff happening. And when you might not be in the best shape, or maybe, let's say you're trying to grow and you're not posting as much or whatever, you don't get as much of it. But I really want people to understand that you, as a person, you, Johnny, for example, are not your body. Yes, you know, you look amazing and all that kind of stuff, but you as a person, your essence, your soul, whatever you want to call it, are not your body. This body's a vehicle carrying you around. That's great. But I want people to start to detach themselves from their physical body. It shows how much work that you put into it, yes, and I understand that you can be very proud of that. But at the same time, you have to realize that it's not always going to be in peak shape. You know, you might get sick. You might get injured. You're going to get old. Your body's going to eventually deteriorate. Does that mean that when you're, you know, 70 years old, you're less of a person because your body's not in peak shape?
Not at all.
In fact, probably more life experience and wisdom and character, and you'll be even better as a person than your physical body is showing. So please learn to detach yourself from the body, from the scale weight, from what you see in the mirror, and enjoy the process of making it look how you want to create, and look at that as a sculpture, as an art form. But know that that is not you as a being.
It's deep.
Sorry, it's early. It's not a Friday.
What chapter of the Bible was that from? No, I know what you're saying too. I don't know. Like for me to answer that question.
Well, there's another thing. You know, you could also look at it this way. When you got out of shape, you probably didn't feel as good about yourself but that is not so much down to how you looked, but I think it's more down to your habits. So if, you know, even if you don't look amazing, if you are in control of your habits and you're doing something productive every day, you can be proud to know that you're moving forward in those directions. So even if you don't have physical top shape, you know, but if you're doing something, whether, you know, that be putting that effort into something else while staying healthy, that's okay too. You know, so it doesn't always have to be the physical appearance.
It's funny, yeah, when we went into that first lockdown, that was when I was like, it's going to make or break me, so I'll actually get fit in lockdown and at home. So I had a treadmill, 2 10-kilo dumbbells, and I transformed myself dramatically by eating perfectly and doing a lot of cardio at home and just making the 10 kilos work for me. And I actually got into really good shape. All natural, just eating consistently, a lot of cardio at home.
Yeah.
And then jumped back on a bit of SAS 250, 1 mil a week. Got leaner and I fucking looked incredible, but worked my ass off. And actually every day I was like, I had another good day.
Yeah.
Then like 6 weeks, 10 weeks went past, and then it was like 4 months, 5 months, and then 6 months, 8 months, it's like, I look pretty good. And then a year later, I was like, and now it's just getting better.
It's that sense of accomplishment. It really is.
So I was actually looking at the scales and myself, and I was seeing changes weekly, little, tiny little bits.
Yeah.
Because I'd been in shape before I knew I'd get there.
Yeah, and that reinforces what you're doing is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just want to emphasize something again. You know, please, people, you know, when you are in good shape and you're getting the accolades, don't let that go to your head.
No,
you
can't.
know,
Yeah.
It's not you as a person. It shows that you've worked hard. Yes.
Shows discipline though.
It shows discipline, and you can say thanks. I've worked hard for this, right? You can show it off. Nothing wrong with showing it off. But just know that that's, you know, like, because when you're not in shape, that's just not who you are.
But the question's more: do you get more respect?
Yeah.
So yes, you do. I definitely do. I went to the gym yesterday. Fucking excuse my language. I saw Peter, this real estate agent. He goes, Johnny, where you been? He goes, you look like a freaking Greek statue. I'm like, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. You know, I work my ass off. I'm trying to be the best there is. You know, I'm working there.
Yeah.
He goes, man, you look incredible.
Yeah.
I was walking around that gym. I felt good.
Yeah.
You know, feels fucking good.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. So I've no doubt people respect you more. I think so. Because if I see a fat slob fucking with man tits and a absolute just as they look after themselves, I actually, fortunately to say, I have less respect for them because they're not looking after themselves. It's selfish.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before. They become a burden on their friends and family because they're too lazy to make better choices with food, and some people need to get off their fucking ass and actually be better with their diet choices. Like, people know.
Most definitely.
So I think it's very selfish if you're just eating fucking shit all day long. You're a fat fucking slob. You need your family to come and pick you up and give you diabetes medication. Like, there's a line there.
Yeah.
I think some people just take it too far. They need it. They need to make an effort, you know.
Health is 100%, but you know how somebody looks physically. You do get more recognition and whatnot if you are in peak shape, but the other problem is people people see these influencers with millions of followers that are in this shape, and they think that that's what's going to bring them happiness, and it's not.
I disagree. I'm fucking happy as fuck being in shape, bro. It brings me absolute happiness. It changed my life. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When you're 60 years old and you're not in peak shape anymore, is that going to affect your mental state?
No, because I'll be 60. I know that's my age. Yeah.
When you're 60, it doesn't feel like you're 60. When I'm 50 this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I still in my head feel like I'm 25.
I don't know what I'll feel then, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to feel in 60. Who fucking knows? I might be teaching seminars on the beach about mindfulness. But I know now that I'm in shape, I'm so fucking happy and so confident. I'm riding this wave. And it's making me confident with my work, my brand too, because it's branding as well. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, do you know what I mean? We're allowed to disagree on things.
Well, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Because if you were...
But don't what I'm trying to say, though, I'm not saying that it doesn't make you feel good. By all means, it makes you feel good. Please, I'm not just
get in shape.
I don't disagree with that. But what I'm trying to do is make sure you have the balance enough to understand that you as a person, because people will come up to you, man, you look so good, this, that, and then it pumps up your head, pumps up your ego. But and there might be a time where, man, because here's the thing, I've had this happen to me on a number of occasions where I've been injured or I had some intestinal issues like years ago, not training or bodybuilding related or anything like that. Was in the hospital, lost 20 kilos, came out unrecognizable.
Fuck.
They were going to give me a bag that I was going to have to live with for the rest of my life. So it was going to be like, nope, you can't have a colon. You're going to have a bag instead. And that's it. I was on, 20 kilos down. Like, it was in low 70s. It was about 75 kilos or something from 95. And people come out, what happened to you? Right? Did you get AIDS? Like what happened to you? I didn't recognize you. Are you okay? Like not like, are you okay? Are you okay with not looking like that anymore? And I thought about it, and at that time I was just so grateful to get out of the hospital in one piece and still have my guts. I was so thankful. I was like, thank fuck. I'm in one piece. I didn't care. You know what I mean? But I don't know if everybody would have been in that mindset. Like, I know people, they get sick for a week. They get fucking depressed because they didn't go to the gym for a week. They feel like they've lost size, right? You're in for a world of shock when something real big happens. If you can't handle being sick or not training for a few days, and it's gonna mess with your head, man. Imagine something happening where you can't, and you don't, and people make comments like that. What happened to you? Are you gonna be okay? When somebody just looks at you and go, "What happened to you? Like, you're so small."
Said to my missus yesterday, I said, babe, I'll have kids soon, and I'll jump off all the gear, go natural. Because you're going to be all right. Like, I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'll still eat and diet well. I might not be as vascular or ripped, but that's just part of it. I'll accept it. It's part of it. Yeah. Especially being a dad, do you know what I mean? So I know that'll have to come eventually. But I'm fucking making the most of it now while I can. Yeah.
But that's what I want people to understand.
Yeah.
Is that, you've got to be able to have, look at your body as this project, and yes, you can feel good that you've made these accomplishments. You can take the compliments on. You can enjoy that, but just know that when you don't get those compliments because something might have happened or whatever, it might have been out of your control.
My brother broke his ankle last week, two places. Can't walk.
Might have been completely out of your control.
Yeah.
Can you still be okay in knowing you're the same person inside? You just didn't have fucking shredded, like, do you know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say.
I understand. It's a complicated one, but I see where you're coming from. All right, but you do get more respect being in shape. That was the general answer.
Yes.
Half an hour later.
Sorry.
Okay, next question. How long should a female realistically bulk for? Is 3 months too short?
Okay, so for a female, I don't know if I would look at it as a bulk. I mean, some girls are happy to say they're in bulk. But what is it? Well, that is a time period where you are in above maintenance calories. You're in a little bit of a surplus. And what is that going to do for you? Two things. One is it's going to set you up to be in a good position for next time you get lean. So if you stay trying to get lean all the time, like as we talked about before, body starts adapting to that, and you're no longer going to be, you have to be lowering things all the time. So it puts you in a good position to where when you pull food back, you're going to get leaner.
You get used to those low calories, right? After a while?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do. The other thing is that the surplus of calories is going to be a great job of putting new muscle tissue on. Now, some girls want to grow things. Some girls want to grow their delts and a booty and everything else. So the longer that you're in that slight surplus, the better you're going to grow muscle, because you're not going to be growing muscle when you're dieting, when you're lean. You're going to be holding on to muscle if you can, but you're not going to be growing. So if you want to bring up any body parts, you have to do that while you're in a slight surplus. So is 3 months long enough to put on enough muscle? You're going to put on some muscle in that time period, but the longer you stay in that slight surplus, the more muscle you're going to put on, and the better position you're going to be in for next time you pull food full down. So that's my answer.
So 3 months, you could still grow in 3 months in a surplus, but
Most
maybe
definitely.
realistically you might want to do 5, 6, 7, even a year.
However long you want to, keep making those
surplus.
progress. So if you want to see some big physical changes, because even for a female, think about how much muscle can you put on, let's say in a week.
40 grams?
Well, I don't know the particular number, but let's say you did put 40, 50, 60 grams of lean tissue on in a week. Well, that takes a lot of weeks to stack up to put on the muscle in the right spots. And then when you pull it back off, you're going to have a better shape.
Yeah. Fuck, it's so complicated, this shit. It takes a while.
It's not really. we're either growing in the surplus,
true, yeah.
right? Put some muscle on.
Getting the movements right, learning the PEDS,
Yeah.
blood work. There's a bit to it.
Yeah.
You know.
But try not to overcomplicate it.
How about this one? Have you ever done SARMs? Why or why not?
Years ago. Yes. And, this is when I was looking into them, and I see all these benefits. It's not suppressive. It does this, does that, and it's as good as this, and so on and so forth. And then usually at the end of the article, it would be buy here, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a good retrospect. So since I've learned to look at things a lot deeper, and also from personal mistakes I've made, I've seen the worst blood work I've ever seen while using SARMs.
Shut you down?
Yeah. Still suppressive. I've had people use it way back then, and I was looking at blood work. Oh shit, Wait, I
Is
thought
SARMs different from peptides?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, and look, there were particular SARMs like the LGD, Brad 140, these kind of things that we find not only are suppressive, but can mess with your libido. They can cause all kinds of, I've seen worse blood work on liver function and everything like that from SARMs. So, and then the benefits from them, actually the amount of muscle people are putting on from them,
Not as good?
not great. So, my opinion, don't touch them.
Yeah, okay. What about CJC and GHRP6? What are they?
Those are peptides.
Okay, I've used those before in the
Yeah,
past, long time ago. Yeah, actually, fuck, GHRP6 made me so hungry.
Yeah, that works on your ghrelin levels, which is responsible for your hunger.
Might take something to get.
Growth hormone releasing peptide. Now that stimulates your pituitary to produce more growth hormone. So that's a little different than very different than SARMs.
Okay, good answer. All right, listen up right now. Great question, Johnny. You'll like this one. Can you build tree trunk legs without going heavy on squats and other leg exercises?
Yes.
So you don't have to squat to build tree trunk legs.
No.
I think I haven't squat for over 14 months.
Yeah.
I don't squat.
Yeah. Think about that. Like, if somebody is really good at squats and they have complete control and they can go to damn near close to failure, if not failure, before something else gives out, then great. That's for you. But chances are I see people squat and either using shit form or they stop well and truly before the muscle fatigues because something else is giving. The back isn't feel comfortable, hips, knees, or they just basically get scared and they rack it, right? So if you can go good form, good range of motion on squats and go till you basically can't move and nothing else is giving way, then great, they're for you. But chances are something else gives first, and this is why you can lock in on a hack squat and go till you can't get up and basically fall out of the machine and put a shit ton of tension in the muscle, which is going to be more effective for growth.
Which is what we do. But I wouldn't mind doing a bit of squatting now just because I used to squat very heavy, man.
Yeah.
Very heavy. I could squat over 200 kilos. And I was only like 83 kilos back then. But my back used to fucking kill after doing that.
You're one of those where you actually it's kind of dangerous with you because you might have the issue in the back, whereas most people go, ooh, that doesn't feel right, and they might rack it. You'll go, no, fuck it, I'll do it anyway, and that might not be so good.
Yeah, man, my lower back.
Yeah.
So I never deadlifted.
Yeah.
So you definitely can. And look, my legs have been built. Look, I've always had pretty good legs, because I've always trained legs pretty hard. But they've gotten good now because I've just been doing really, I think I get in the muscle. We go train with Scott. Look, I have to admit, training with you in legs it's really enjoyable. And sometimes I get anxiety before those sets, and I won't lie. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, this is going to... Anyway, come on, am I thinking... I'm like, shut the fuck up, get in this machine and fucking do it, you pussy. Let's go. Come on, let's go. And then it's getting painful. I'm like, all right, this is where I got to push. And every time, after I'm like, fuck, I did it. Right,
how good do you feel after?
Oh, God, after those leg sessions, it's like I just had sex. It's fucking great. Oh, my God. I'm walking out and I'm like, okay, 5 days off. Let's do it. Let's do it again in 5 days. Fuck.
Yeah, it's best.
All right. So there's your answer to your questions. But you don't have to squat, but it's good to do, I guess. All right. Would you rather... John, I'll ask you this question. Would you rather have abs but no chest or chest but no abs? Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
Scotty? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Because, abs anyone can get by just dieting hard enough. Doesn't show that you've actually put some effort in.
Well, that's an effort, though.
Well, you could just starve, That's not really that hard. You know what I mean?
I guess so. But having a nice chest, when I was young, I saw Arnold in The Terminator, and I saw his chest. I'm like, man, that is powerful. That is such a powerful thing, a big chest. And that's why I started training chest so much, because I knew something about having a big chest on a bloke was really, I had to have one. So yeah, definitely for me is having a big chest. Even if you got a bit of fluff here, got a big chest, it kind of makes sense.
As long as it sticks out farther than the stomach.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's the rule there.
But some people might disagree. Some people just might want the abs.
Yeah.
I don't think many would, though. Who knows? All right, that was just a funny question. Okay, here's a great question. How do you keep up with motivation on days you just don't have it the most?
Well, that's going to be a lot of days.
Yeah.
You know, what are your options? Not doing it?
Yeah.
And then how are you going to feel if you don't do it? So it's not motivation, man. It's consistency.
I think that's a very good point. But I think if you don't have a vision or a goal, it's very hard to be motivated. So I think you need to sit down, look at your life, and go, what I want to achieve out of my life, what's going to make me happy, and where can I see myself setting some goals that I want to achieve and setting a plan. So I'm extremely motivated and driven now because I know what I want to do. Like, I want to build this brand up. I want to have the best physique, and I want to put out good content and be a good agent. So I'm very goal driven, and I know every day I got to take actions to do it. So I get up, I'm like, all right, I got to go train. I got to eat well. I got to work with my suppliers. I got to do my real estate. But if I didn't have these goals, I would struggle. You know, I'd probably struggle to be like, what am I going to do? So I think you need to sit down and go, what's my goal? And then when you got the goal in place, you kind of like you have a reason to do something.
And you need a plan too as well. So if you have a goal, and if you don't have a coach or whatnot, or you know, make sure that you do the research and know what you need to do to get to a plan. So even if it's in business, you know, if you want your brand to be massive, you know what you need to do. You're seeking out help where you need help. You know, so you might need to seek out a coach to give you help to have a plan to get you where you need to go. And if you have a plan, you just basically have to follow. You're not going to be motivated all the time. No way.
No.
It'd be awesome if you were, but it's not going to happen all the time.
My mate's going to Tomorrowland in 12 weeks. Speak to him all the time. The motivation this guy has, undeniable. He's working his ass off every day. He's got a goal. So I think, if you don't have motivation, you got to set yourself a goal. And I think that'll be the best thing. Like, you know, when I go away on these holidays, I'm going to go to Korea at the end of the year because my girlfriend's Korean. Yeah. I'm going to be in mad shape for that because I know I want to look good. So I've got a goal, this little lean gain phase now. Yeah. And then I'll do it because I can shred pretty. I'll just do a 4-week shred and I'll look sick for it. Yeah. But I got that goal in place to be lean.
And then you'll have more muscle next time we.
Yeah, I'll have a muscle for once, finally. And if you don't have a goal, fucking make one up. Bet you like. Here's a nice question. Is an ice bath post-workout beneficial?
No. I wouldn't be having ice baths post-training for hypertrophy. That's going to blunt the inflammatory response.
And you want inflammation, right?
You do want that type of inflammation for adaptations for hypertrophy. So ice baths can be great for reducing inflammation and recovery and things like that. You know, if you're in a sport, right after training might be a good idea. But for bodybuilding, for muscle growth, not right after training. If you want to do it on your day off or hours and hours after training, that would be more optimal.
Have you done an ice bath, Johnny? How'd you find it? Cold, yeah. I did one probably months ago. Fuck, it was cold.
Yeah, I still have cold showers every morning.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
You know, I do it for resilience. I do it to say, okay, well, this is going to be a little bit of a hard part of my day, so it adds a little bit of stress to your day. But if you can manage that, then the rest of your day becomes a little bit easier.
Here's a challenge for you. So if you're watching this now, have your normal hot shower in the morning or whatever you do it, and then the last part of your shower, you turn it to cold for about, 20 seconds?
Oh, look, if you can go to a minute or so. But you can start off. You can start off for 10 seconds, like just, you know, and then build up if you like.
It must be harder in the colder weather.
Oh, I noticed when the weather shifted, oh, my God. I'm like, oh, it's getting cold out. Because it wasn't even uncomfortable in the summertime. I was like, oh, this is fine.
You want to try the best natural high. I did this. So I did a warm shower, and then I actually filmed it too. And you couldn't see my tiny genitals, so don't worry. Yeah. But I did a cold shower for a minute after. Yeah. And fuck, it was a shock. But when I got out, I swear to God, I had the energy. I had the best energy and clarity for probably 4 or 5 hours after that.
They say it really increases dopamine levels.
Yeah, I had the best high. Try it tomorrow. It's hard to do. If you can push yourself to have a cold shower, you got to fucking do most things.
I should have told people, you know, if you're going to start having cold showers, start in the summertime to where you get used to it because the water's not bad at all. And then once it gets cold, that it's much easier to adapt to. So if you start in the wintertime, it's a bit of a rude shock.
Yeah. Cold showers, man, because that's difficult. Go have a cold shower, grow some balls, fucking do something hard. Everything else is going to be easy for the rest of your day. All right. So an ice baths, don't do it straight after training.
Correct.
Stops inflammation. Okay. Here's a random question. If you're going to eat one source of protein for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I would probably go, it sounds strange, but I'd probably go like a vanilla isolate of like protein powder. Because I think I would get sick of chewing. Think about chicken and, a steak would probably be my second choice, but I think the vanilla protein shake, you can add different things with it. It's very versatile. You don't really get sick of it. Don't get sick of it like you might chocolate or some rich flavors.
You're going to miss out on some like other type of minerals in that compared to like having an animal meat.
Whey protein is actually very high percentage, or whey protein is a very high percentage of absorbable protein, probably one of the highest.
Man, I'd probably have kangaroo.
Yeah.
I've been having it since I was like 20.
It's hard. I think it'd be a little bit tough on digestion if you're having it all the time. Like, it'd be hard to break down, don't you think?
I have it like 3 times a day already.
Already? Okay.
Yeah. I eat a lot of kangaroo.
Yeah, I had one guy, he switched it to kangaroo.
Boom, boom, boom.
He started bouncing.
Bounce so much.
He switched all his meals to kangaroo, and then he was having a little, like, stomach was playing up a little bit due to digestion. I just think it's probably not the easiest to break down. In fact, that's why I do a lot of extra lean minced beef, or I'll even get a rump steak, and I'll have them mince it.
And you mix it with kangaroo?
No, I don't have kangaroo, but
that's what I do.
Yeah, but you know what you're getting for the rump steak for that matter, and it already breaks it down to some degree, and versus all the chewing.
Actually, you gave me a good idea too. You said you get a type of mince, and then you put the kidneys in it, and the heart, and the other organs as well.
That. Yeah.
And it's all right. No.
I struggle with it still,
yeah.
But I suggest that people do that.
I
recommend it to people, but I struggle even because you can have the butcher like take some liver and put it in with your normal mince, and supposed to not notice it as much, but I still struggle.
Well, I just want to look like Liver King.
There you go.
That's what those organ meats do. Ancestral tenants, Scott.
It's good. I actually take sometimes I take liver capsules, desiccated liver capsules. I'm very high in B vitamins.
I was on those. And my mum, shout out, Mum, I love you. Thank you for raising me so well. My mum makes the best chicken liver curry. Oh my God. You have to try it, I'm telling you. It's delicious.
I believe you.
You got to try it. Mum, I love you. I'll see you soon, all right? You're going to make that curry for everyone. Maybe we'll sell it online or something and make a Sharda's cooking show, because my mum's a pretty good cook. All right. We'll keep going through this. Thoughts on peptides, and we kind of answered this before. Would either of you use them long term?
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
What about SARMs? No.
What I did?
The BPC 157, amazing for healing. Really good for gut as well, healing the gut. You can actually, that's one of the only peptides that's usable that'll
you can
bypass
take you can actually
system.
swallow.
Yeah. I think it's made from gastric juice.
You know a guy that makes them? Should we give him a shout out? What's his name?
Kyle Level Up.
Level Up.
Yeah, he does a great BPC 157 in oral form. And he's so particular about the ingredients. So he gets them third-party tested once. He gets the certificates of analysis from the manufacturer. Then he tests it himself again to make sure it's top-notch, because this stuff's not cheap.
I've been meaning to get in contact with him because this tendon still gives me a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So that BPC, I can take that orally. Don't have to inject it.
No.
And what about TB500? Can he make that too?
That is not absorbable through the digestive system, from my understanding.
Okay. Well, BBC might work. So that actually helps because with muscles and tendons are actually harder to recover. You don't get much blood flow through them.
Yeah.
So you need to take the BPC 157.
Correct. Yeah.
Really helps with that. I was on that for 2 months after I tore my tendon.
Yeah.
Being stupid on Instagram.
Yeah.
Trying to lift too heavy, freaking ego lifting, and I tore this tendon. I couldn't even pick up a pan, man.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I was fucked.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't make much progress upper body that year. Because I couldn't pull. It was freaking hard. But anyway, I'm growing now. Okay. Is clenbuterol good for someone who's plateaued whilst cutting?
Yes. But make sure that you don't rely on that and eat shit, right?
Yeah.
And please,
it's not good for your heart, though,
please, guys. No, it's a type 2 beta agonist, so it's an asthma medication, but it's basically, it acts on the sympathetic nervous system. So it's constant stress on your body too as well.
Yeah.
Don't be going on for, and please start off with a minimal possible amount, like 20 micrograms. I'm actually
20 micrograms an hour is all you need. Yeah. A day.
Look, I shouldn't even be giving recommendations for this, so don't use it.
This is not medical advice, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you do choose to do something like this, please do the smallest amount and don't be doing silly stuff. All right. And my point, actually, what I should have answered first was,
it will help.
Yes, it will help, but make sure you're doing everything right first with your diet and your cardio. Don't rely on that for fat loss.
Well, yeah.
Use that at potentially the point where everything else is plateaued, knowing you've done everything else right, and then that can kickstart.
Save it up. Like, you got to save these things up your sleeve.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, don't just jump into it. So if you're 160 kilos, you shouldn't just jump on the clen. No. Do that. You just freaking don't eat macas and walk around a bit. It's pretty much it. All right. That is a good question. Okay, we only got a couple left. We've got to wrap it up. It's been over our stay here. Is a good question, Scott. Someone wanted to know, can boxing be considered a form of cardio whilst cutting weight?
It can, especially if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
My recommendation with boxing would be if you're doing it more in a maintenance or surplus of calories, because boxing's going to tax your nervous system a fair bit. So when your recovery is low from being in a deficit, and you're taxing your nervous system from training, and you're taxing it from that kind of cardio, I'd probably prefer a little bit more steady state cardio. But if you really enjoy it, then that's okay. And then even so I will make this point too as well. So even if you're incorporating boxing into your training, I'd still like you to have a day off of complete rest. So if you are training and doing boxing, I'd prefer them on the same day. So, for example, if you might do training in the morning and boxing in the evening.
You told me that, yeah.
So that your rest day is actually your rest day. So you have a complete rest day off your nervous system.
You're taking the boxing as if they do some pretty hard rounds on the bags, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Not just fluffing around.
Yeah.
Like proper boxing.
Yeah. So you do that on the same day as training, and then you'd have a complete rest day.
Well, here's a question for you. So let's say one of your clients is competing in the Olympia, and they want to do boxing. What are you going to tell them to do?
Probably not.
Yeah. No. It's not ideal, I think, yeah. Stick to what the bodybuilding is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you do enjoy it, do it.
Yeah.
I see some guys doing kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then bodybuilding. They're not, no offense, I don't think they're being optimal. You're going to kind of stick to the game plan of what your coach might give you for your goals.
Yeah, so if let's say you want to get better in Muay Thai and you really like training as well. So you've just got to balance yourself. So you might put more effort in, and you pull. In that case, if you might pull back your training to maximize your Muay Thai training.
Yep.
So you got to think about how much recovery you have during the week, based on also based on how much food you're in at the time. At the end of the day, life's short. You should be able to enjoy what you're doing.
Good
if
point.
You have some certain goals, whether it's like really your focus is physique goals, then we manage that. So, but if your goal might be getting better at boxing or Muay Thai, then you might scale back the training a little bit to.
So a client comes to you and say, "Hey, Scotty, I play soccer on a Wednesday night." You must get heaps of people like that, right? Yeah. And but I want to be a bodybuilder too. Yeah. You say, "Hey, do your training? You might have soccer training one night, then you play a game on the weekend." Yeah. And then, because that'd be pretty taxing. Yeah. Just those 2 days. Yeah. Full soccer game or footy. Yeah. And then heaps of footy players that go to you too, right? Yeah. Must be. Yeah. And then they've got midweek training. Yeah. And then they're probably a tradie. And then they've got to do bodybuilding as well. How the fuck are you going to manage recovery?
They're eating 7,000 calories for one thing. Right?
Yeah, right.
And then we might pull back on the training a little bit. Have the training days on the same days of their matches. Yeah. Or have another.
Fuck, that's hard.
Just make sure that there's some complete rest days in there too as well. So they might only train. They may train weights 4 days a week. They may do soccer training twice a week or a match once, and we have like at least 1 day of complete rest. And if somebody's trying to get lean and doing that as well, they'd probably be having more calories than if they weren't. But you can manage everything, you can work around everything.
Everything's doable. Okay, nearly done. Don't worry, John. Mediphorm to grow. Well, can you explain to people what Mediphorm is firstly?
Mediphorm. Okay, so people have these side enhancement oils, right? And that's like synthol and all that kind of stuff, what people put in their biceps and everything, and see lumps and bumps and all that kind of stuff. So this Mediphorm is not an oil. It's actually water-based.
Can I put it in my dick?
It's you could.
Excellent.
I don't know.
Finally, thank God.
I don't know how it
I've got
works.
an answer. Where do I get this from?
But it's hyaluronic acid, right?
Well, it doesn't sound good.
Hyaluronic acid, and this is the same
Does it
stuff.
put in your lips?
The same stuff that girls put in their lips, right?
Okay.
And people put it in like a smaller body part. They might put it in biceps, triceps, calves, that kind of thing. And what it does is it volumizes the area a bit.
Is that why calves are so good?
It draws water to the area and nutrients, so it can be okay for that. And it doesn't give you like.
You seem to know a lot about this.
It doesn't give you massive results. Of course, know a lot about everything.
A little too much.
So
that's why those arms are so big.
No.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Look, I mean, a lot.
So it's not synthol though.
No,
Okay.
a lot of pro bodybuilders do use it, and some of them actually have discount codes for it and everything else like that.
Really?
So it's not like it can be considered a little bit taboo because it's like, oh my gosh, you're putting something in the muscle. But
what does it do?
The results aren't phenomenal. Okay. So it's not. Is it going to make the muscle bigger?
Will that stop the muscle from growing if you're putting something in it?
No. So there's two ways to look at that. One is the downfall of that is possibly creating more scar tissue because you're more jabs. Same with jabbing gear. You're going to create more scar tissue. So we don't want to create too much scar tissue. But it can also help volumize the muscle, a little more fluid, help nutrients, things like that. So there can be some benefits to it. So I would, if somebody was going to pick, I definitely would steer them away from a synthol oil-based enhancement stuff. But the Mediphorm, look into it. Have a look at some of the. They've done a number of podcasts on it and stuff like that. It's don't rely on it though. It's not going to make a shit body part good. It might make an okay body part a little better, but it's not going to make a shit body part good.
Interesting. There you go. And one last question, which is something a lot of guys have a lot of insecurities about: gynomastia. Is it called gynomastia?
I just call it gyno.
Gynecomastia. Gynecomastia. I've had mine removed.
Yeah.
Surgically. Managing gyno on cycle, best methods.
Well, first of all, it's going to depend on the individual and how they handle their testosterone. Some people have gyno even through puberty.
Yeah.
And it's just part of their genetics.
I had little lumps when I was a teenager. I'd be like, oh, what's that? I didn't know what it was. And then I found out that's just part of my hormones. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, when somebody's using testosterone, don't run it so high that you're going to deal with aromatization issues. I'm not a huge fan of aromatase inhibitors like Arimidex, Letrozole, but if there is a case for it, it can be implemented.
Yeah.
But first of all, I would look at not running the test too high to where you don't actually need it. And then you look at another compound if you're running things a little higher that doesn't aromatize.
So these pros, they'll be on thousands of milligrams of stuff, some of them.
Not necessarily, but that's definitely a possibility.
And they'll be taking like Aromacin and all these other things.
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
But you know what? I would also like to see, their blood work. I'd like to see the lipid levels. I'd like to see,
because Nick Walker just texted me his cycle. About to jump on that.
Yeah.
You wait. Nah,
I'll come to your funeral.
I love Nick Walker. Oh, fuck, he motivates me. Well, that's pretty much it, Scott. So don't run the test too high.
Yeah.
And we won't give any figures out there. That's how you manage it. And you've never had issues with it, right? You've just been...
Genetically, I've never had... and I'll tell you this. I made the mistake of using it years ago because that's just what you do. Like, years ago...
Using...
All the aromatase
AIs?
inhibitors.
Yeah.
And you just go, oh, we're using tests. Use an AI, right? No need. Like, for me, there was definitely no need. I've even done my blood work and found estrogen could be very high with me, and I don't have any high estrogen side effects as far as that goes. I don't, the fluid, I don't have the gyno, those issues. So for me, it wasn't an issue. Some people can take a very small amount of test and start getting those issues. So it really, it's person dependent. So I know more now than I did then. So I'm not doing that. And I can tell you this: I remember a number of times when I take the AIs that I would feel like shit. Like feel down, depressed. Because
You need estrogen.
You need estrogen. It's
Yeah.
cardioprotective. It's neuroprotective for your brain. You need it for sexual function. You tank your estrogen too low, and your dick ain't gonna work. Right? You don't want it too high or too low, for that matter. So, yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all your answers, Mr. Slayman. Guys,
Thanks for your questions. Appreciate it.
If you want to follow him on Instagram, his Instagram is at Scott Slayman, or is it underscore?
I don't think there's any underscores, no.
At Scott Slayman. Mine's Johnny_Starr. We love doing these podcasts for you, but we can't actually do them without you putting in the questions. So we put them on our Instagram stories and we answer them.
Apologies if we didn't get to all your questions.
There was a lot that came in.
There was more that came through that we might answer next time for you too as well.
We banked them up. So yeah, we get your questions and we go through them. A lot of them we've already answered in previous podcasts as well. So if you look back at our last 3 podcasts that we've done, there's all the questions are timestamped there too. I'm the one that sits down and does all those. Thank you. And this is on Spotify. It's on Apple iTunes. It's on YouTube. Where else can we put it? I could probably put it on SoundCloud. Probably, right? I should do that on the Never Home SoundCloud.
Why not?
People listen. Yeah. But we'll wrap it up. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you again.
Thank you so much. We'll see you whenever you watch this. Take care. Peace out.
to go.